Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's talk about feedback. We've all been there, right? That moment when you have to give it or you have to get it. It can be awkward, super uncomfortable, and a lot of the time, pretty useless. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if you could turn that anxiety into one of the most powerful tools you have for growth? Well, today, we're going to show you how. So here's the game plan. We're going to walk through the entire feedback journey from start to finish. First, we'll dig into why being direct is so important. Then, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of how to actually deliver that feedback in a way that helps, not hurts. From there, it's all about action, building a plan, tracking progress, and finally, making sure the whole thing is wrapped in the HR and ethical guidelines that keep everyone safe and respected. All right, let's dive right in. Before we even get to the how, we have to nail down the why. And the fundamental truth is this. When it comes to feedback that actually works, direct is almost always best. I mean, think about it. It's our natural instinct to be nice, right? We try to soften the blow, we sugarcoat the tough stuff, but you have to ask yourself, is that really helping? Or are we just creating a bunch of confusion that stalls out any chance of real progress? And this comparison just lays it all out. On one side, you have that vague, nice feedback. It feels safer in the moment, sure, but over time it just chips away at trust and everything kind of stagnates. But look at the other side, the direct approach. It might feel a little blunt at first, but it's a straight line to clarity. It's something you can actually act on. It's not a critique of the person, it's a tool to help them develop specific skills. Okay, so we're all on board. Direct is the way to go. But, and this is a big but, direct does not mean being a jerk. There's a real art to delivering feedback constructively, so let's break down how to actually have that conversation. Following these 5 steps can totally transform the vibe of the whole thing. First, you find a private neutral spot. No interruptions. Then, you start by recognizing their strengths, what they bring to the table. Then, you get specific. No generalizations. Just, here's what I observed and here was the impact. And this is crucial. You make it a conversation, not a lecture. Let them talk. And finally, you end it by looking ahead, together, at how to move forward. So you've had a great conversation. That's awesome. But it's really just the starting line. For any of this to stick, you've got to turn that talk into a real, concrete action plan. Let's look at exactly how to build one. And when it comes to action plans, the gold standard, without a doubt, is the SMART goal framework. Now, I know it sounds like corporate buzzword bingo, but trust me, this simple tool is incredibly powerful. It forces clarity and takes all the guesswork out of what improvement actually looks like. And here is where it all just clicks. This table takes a fuzzy goal like improve your project management and makes it crystal clear. It's not just do better, it is specific. Finish the Acme project. It's measurable. Hit that 15% cost reduction. It's achievable, it's relevant, and it has hard deadlines. You see? This is the difference between just hoping someone gets better and actually giving them a roadmap to succeed. But hey, creating the plan is just one part of the puzzle. Real, lasting development doesn't happen in one meeting. It happens over time with consistent follow-up. This whole thing is a journey, not a one-and-done event. And to monitor that journey effectively, you really need to look at 2 things. On one hand, you have the hard data, the numbers. We're talking KPIs, customer satisfaction scores, things you can measure objectively. But just as important is the other side, the behaviors, the qualitative stuff. That's where ongoing coaching and counseling come in. You absolutely need both to get the full picture of what's happening. A consistent rhythm of check-ins is what keeps the momentum going. A timeline like this one builds accountability. You have that first check-in after a month to catch any early problems. Then more formal reviews down the line to make sure the plan is still working and adjust if it's not. It keeps everyone on track and focused on growth. Now, while we're talking about all these plans and processes, we have to remember that this doesn't exist in a bubble. The entire system is held up by a super important framework of HR and ethical principles that keep the whole thing fair, safe, and productive for everyone. And let me be clear, these principles are completely non-negotiable. Fairness, objectivity, non-discrimination, confidentiality, this is the bedrock. This is what makes sure that feedback is a tool for building people up, not a weapon to tear them down. It's the foundation of any healthy work culture. And for those times when things just aren't improving or a bigger issue comes up, there's a formal, structured process. This is where you partner with HR. As you can see, they help manage a fair, well-documented procedure. This isn't about punishment. Think of it as a safety net that guarantees every situation is handled with care, objectivity, and, of course, legal compliance. So when you boil it all down, it comes to this. Feedback isn't the obstacle we often think it is. It's the opportunity. When you approach it with a clear, structured, and fair process, you can transform a moment of dread into a powerful catalyst for growth. So the real question you have to ask yourself is, what kind of conversation are you going to have next?